Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to LSTkpop Newsroom. A very heavy news story has come out over the last day that I believe deserves its own video. I want to mention that those who might be triggered by stories of self-harm should probably just skip this one. I'm not going to be including any of the images that were posted, but I will be going over the allegations in detail, and I will be going over all the messages line by line. So former AOA member Kwon Mina has recently opened up about her disturbing past experience as a member of the idol group. A message by a hater which reads, "Get lost, you bitch," has led Mina to post a series of messages on Instagram. She starts off with a screenshot of the hater's message and writes, "I really want to get lost too, but I have to take care of my mom. Oh, I'll probably be contacted and told I'm brainless again. That's right, I'm brainless, and I never learned anything properly. I had to earn money from a young age because our family was struggling. Around the time of my dad's passing, I cried once in the waiting room, and one of the unnies told me that I was ruining everyone's mood and told me not to cry, dragging me to the closet of the waiting room. I told her I was so scared at the thought of my dad dying. I still can't forget those words. Other bullying incidents? Other profanities? I can deal with them, even though they hurt. Because we rode the same car, I was given a sedative and sleeping pills and put to sleep. I knew I had to do well at scheduled activities, but I could feel myself breaking more and more. Because of her, I once tried to attempt suicide. And I'm okay with not being acknowledged as an idol or an actor. I'm very bad at it. I'm still very lacking. But I've been so happy doing it and I worked really hard. It's a job I really love. I've never felt stressed because of work. To be honest, I really didn't want to leave AOA, but because of one person who hated me, I was bullied for 10 years, and by the end, I was so angry that I wanted to curse at her just once. In the end, I gave up AOA. I used to enjoy promoting with other members. Recently, her father passed away. My heart ached and I felt strange because I knew what that felt like. I went to the funeral hall and as soon as she saw me, she cried and apologized. I felt so empty and my heart crumbled. It felt like everything had emptied out. All of my resentment disappeared and everything felt okay. But because I was so broken, I was scared of being on hiatus. Of course I'd anticipated it and thought I'd be okay if I learned new things and got treated for depression, panic disorder, or anxiety. But so many things happened during that hiatus. To be honest, I was worn out. Netizens? Just like what the people on the internet were saying, I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't want to see myself anymore, and I thought of myself as annoyingly loud. But I wasn't born because I wanted to be born. I also have a mouth. I also have hands. I couldn't control myself anymore. But I had to keep living for my mom. I don't need people to like me or be interested in me. Can't people just leave me alone? Because it's all my fault. Her next post says, "Oh, the reason I brought up that person in AOA is because my dad was diagnosed with late-stage pancreatic cancer and I knew he would pass away soon. But because I thought she would tell me off again, I had an acting job, we were making a comeback, so I didn't want to negatively affect the other members as we were promoting. I had lines to learn and had to smile a lot. I felt like I couldn't get caught up in thoughts of my dad and I needed to do my job properly, so I couldn't visit my dad at the hospital. Because of his cancer, he was skin and bones, and I couldn't help but cry when I saw him. My sister would call and say that my dad couldn't speak anymore, but was still asking for me. But what if I start crying during a scheduled activity? What if she says something to me again? I was so young and I thought that was what I needed to do. I thought that was the right thing to do and I didn't want to get told off anymore. So I could have seen my dad more but I didn't. And when my father closed his eyes, I saw it and I heard the sound of the machine as his pulse flatlined. I was told that my dad had shakily written, "Where's my daughter?" on a sketchbook and shown the nurse. But I hadn't been able to go to see him because I was working. From what I heard, she'd been given a VIP room and her solo activities were cancelled, but I hope that wasn't the case. You should be professional too. Don't cry, okay? You said it ruined the mood. You asked why you had to walk on eggshells because of me. You need to overcome it well too. I still can't erase the memory of what you said to me and how you acted. Even though the memories are fainter, I remember them all. Whenever I remember them, I take medication and get through it. But I think what happened with my dad will stay with me for life. Those might have been words you spit out without much thought for me, but those words were so hurtful to me. In our last 5 minutes together, I told you about how that had been hurtful, and you glared at me and said, "I don't think I'm that much of a bad person that I would say something like that." Another member so courageously spoke up and said those were the words you did say. I was so dispirited that I couldn't speak and I thought to myself, is she even human? And we said our goodbyes. To be honest, I'm not that smart, so I have really bad memory. But with you, the list is endless. There's so much there. But I'll only say that one thing because who knows, I terminated my contract with the agency, but what if they ask me to pay for breach of contract? I haven't said anything, so it's okay, right? Because of you, I take numerous pills, and because I cut my left wrist so much, the nerves are damaged, so it stings and aches. But when I look at my mom, I feel the will to live. I need to go make money. So I'm working hard to undergo scar treatment, although I still have nightmares. What's funny is that before I left, we would have drinks together without you and talk. But still, none of us can figure it out. Why do you hate me? After these two posts, AOA's Jimin responded on her own Instagram stories with one simple word, fiction, which she deleted shortly thereafter. This led Kwon Mina to share another post where she says, I've only said one out of 1 trillion things that exist. Try saying it's fiction. You'll be punished by the heavens. Don't be like that. There are witnesses and evidence. I'm sorry, but there's no need to hear from both sides because I did nothing wrong. During our last days together, I wanted to get hair implants, but I was late to get to the dance practice room because the anesthesia wasn't wearing off. I called in advance, but as soon as I heard your voice, I knew you would throw things into chaos, so I couldn't go to the dance practice room. And that day, I tried to commit suicide again. That's my biggest fault. I've said everything I've done wrong, so should I share some stories about you now? There's so many that it would be bothersome to write them all down. But to say this is fiction, if you had a conscience, why did you delete it? Try calling it fiction. There will be quite a lot of people who would be dumbfounded to hear that. Oh right, even back then you said you couldn't remember and you said you weren't a bad person who would say things like that, right? Wow, it must be nice to be able to erase your memory like that. They say the person who says hurtful words usually can't remember them. Please erase my memory too. Please, please. Then again, you probably could see my wrist and not feel any guilt, right? You'd probably curse right at my face. Her next post included a photo of her scarred wrist, which I've chosen not to include in this video. In this post, she states, fiction? This is too scary to even be called fiction. I underwent 3 to 4 rounds of scar treatment and it's become fainter. But I'm going crazy every day because your memory won't disappear, Jimin. Laws? Lawsuits? I don't have the money to do that. Psychological damages? I don't need any of it. I have no plans to do that. I'm just so sad that I'm so broken because of you, and it hurts and I'm tired. What I want is for you to come to me and admit to your faults and sincerely apologize to me. I think that's all I need. The person who tormented me seems to be totally fine. When waking up every morning is so painful for me, but I need to provide for my family. So admit to your faults and apologize so I can let go of what's built up in my heart, okay? After this post, her agency, Uri Actors, stated that Mina is currently with acquaintances and friends, and she's regaining her emotional stability. It was said that agency staff were also regularly contacting her out of concern, and the source stated, "We will do our best to ensure her well-being." However, Mina later returned to Instagram with another series of posts. She starts off by saying, "You must be finding it difficult to just come and apologize to me. Every time we got a new manager, you'd say that I was scary and just pretending to be stupid. Why did you say I was scary and pretending to be stupid? You'd say I was acting stuck up just because I went to auditions, and when I worked hard to diet so my face would look nicer, you'd say, Mina, what's wrong with your body? I hate seeing it. Gain some weight. When we were trainees, you'd hit me and say it was because I was at the front. We'd have to say, did you have a good night's rest? Yes, I'm sorry, and thank you in a formal tone to you. Everything had to go your way. You could bring anyone you wanted to the dorms. It was so noisy that I went to the practice room to sleep. You'd say things like, hey, hasn't so-and-so changed these days? And go around targeting different members. Oh right, remember when I didn't greet you first at the hair and makeup shop and I got an earful, or don't you? That's only the light stuff. There are so many things that were so much worse over 10 years. But thanks to you, I have nothing to lose and I'm not afraid of anything. Because my source of fear was you. Your existence caused me stress. You couldn't have seen that from my previous posts till now, right? It just became a part of my life, and now I've forgotten it all, and all I'm left with is mental illness, along with some harsh words. Every time I wrote a will, I would include your name. I thought maybe when you read it one day, you'd feel guilty. I'd have stress-induced convulsions and collapse. I'd attempt to commit suicide and collapse. My mom would cry and my sister's battling cancer, but they'd have to keep going to the emergency room because of me. I've never talked back to you, and have I ever done anything wrong from when we were trainees to when we debuted and promoted? If I did, tell me. Did you not like me because I wasn't good at flattery? But I still did my best. Whether I was told off or not, I would smile and keep approaching you, putting aside my pride. I was amazed to hear that you were taking prescribed medication for your mental health and you were having a hard time. You said everything you wanted to say and did almost everything you wanted to do. You were so selfish. I was so envious of you. Of course, everyone has struggles, but at least you were able to freely express that. I always had to push it down. I'm not in the right state of mind right now, but the person who made me like this is you. The person who made my family suffer is you. I used to be strong mentally. When I was a trainee, I'd say it was because you're the leader and told myself to pity you. But it's still the same after all these years. I couldn't tell anyone that I was suffering because of you. Things finally exploded when it came time to renew contracts, and that's when my family found out. Did my family ever say something to you? Even when their daughter was attempted to commit suicide because of someone, they never got angry. You were able to cry when you wanted to, and you received so much comfort. I was worried you'd tell me off again, so for 10 years, how did I spend that time? By the end, I had almost 200 sleeping pills because of you. I collapsed and I have no memory of that. I wrote your name on an A4 piece of paper and told my mom that I was sorry, and that's how I still live every day. I'm broken as much as I can be broken. Because of me, my mom is also suffering from depression. Did you know? You are the one person who makes me not want to live. I'm serious, you're the only reason. Even if you came and sincerely apologized to me, I'm already broken, so I collapse. I suddenly start crying. I take out a knife. I write Shin Jimin down on a piece of paper. I'm so broken, I'm so full of anger that my heart aches and I feel like I'm going crazy. I'm sorry to my mom, dad, and sister. Can't you at least tell me why you hate me? With everything you did to me, you can't say that you didn't hate me. I'm so upset. I feel upset whenever I open my eyes. I feel like I'm going crazy. It's so difficult. When you were sitting in the front passenger seat and turned back to us, my heart would start racing because I thought you'd say something to me. I want an apology from you. What will that do? I don't know. But I feel like I need to do something because I'm so angry. There's no reason for you why you tormented me, is there? Shin Jimin, huh? I wish you could feel what I feel for just one day. I wish I could go back in time and change one day with you. You've had a comfortable life. Say something. Let's hear it. What did you hate about me that much, huh? I really hate you too. If it wasn't for you, what would I be like now? At least I probably wouldn't be crying every day, having nightmares every day, and trying to attempt suicide, right? Because I did nothing to do, I honestly want to go around talking about you and telling people that I have a mental illness because of you. That's why I'm like this now. Sad, isn't it? It's finally boiling over after being pent up. I can't hold it in anymore. I can't hide it anymore. Her next post reads, I heard you took medication and fell asleep. Must be nice. I'm dunking my head in my sink and trying to not cry. I can eat more than 10 sleeping pills and not fall asleep. Amazing, isn't it? I'll stay up for days so I can sleep. Even if I slit my wrists and the floor of our house is covered in blood, I zone out. I blankly think about when I'm going to die, and some people have come running to save me, right? Why does there have to be so many people who are suffering because of me? Are you sleeping well? As soon as I heard that, I got angry again, teared up, and filled with rage. I'm strange, so strange. Try living a life where you have to dunk your head in the sink all the time. It sucks. You're such a bad person. You have to know that. I want to sleep too. I want to get a proper night's sleep too. Why does everyone around me have to suffer because of you? Why did you make me such a bad person? I want to stop worrying people, but I'm so angry. I'm so upset. I feel like I'm going crazy. Stop sleeping and apologize. Wake up. Let me stop feeling broken anymore. Wow, I'm so angry. She continued with another post saying, my dream probably won't come true, right? But if you're a human being, you shouldn't act like that. And FNC Entertainment, I told them everything at the end. I was half out of my mind. I couldn't even open my eyes properly and I stuttered. I hadn't fully recovered from taking hundreds of sleeping pills, but I told them it was because of Jimin and they wouldn't listen to me. Who should I talk to? I shouldn't get angry? I'm like this every day. I've been living like this every day, and you just didn't know because I didn't talk about it. From when I was 21 years old, I've been hiding my medicine bottles and secretly taking medication so I could hold on. I've lived like this, Shin Jimin, because of you. Because of that person who's sleeping so well right now. Mina's next post said, to all those who are suffering because of someone, fight, don't hold it in, or grab someone and tell them. Sleeping pills? Don't take them, it'll never end. Don't live like me. Don't hold it in. Do everything you want to do and express yourself. Please live like that. So sometime after her first series of posts, earlier today, Mina again took to Instagram in what she says to be her final post on the issue. She says, first, I'm sorry for being unable to control my emotions, making a lot of noise all day and affecting a lot of people. There must have been a lot of articles that were hard to read, and I'm sure for some, it's something that they didn't want to know. A lot of people came by my house, and I'm sorry for causing concern. There were many actions and words that a celebrity shouldn't have taken or said. I'm just really sorry. A few hours ago, all of the members and managers came to my house and we talked. At first, Jimin came in angry and I was in disbelief. I asked if hers was an expression of someone who's here to apologize. After arguing, she asked where the knives were and if it would be enough if she died. Eventually, we sat down and talked and she said she didn't remember what happened. I continued to talk about all the times I was hurt by her. Of course, I wasn't in my right mind either and she didn't recall much. I talked about when this happened and when that happened and I couldn't remember everything either. But what I did remember, I looked her straight in the eyes and told her. In her mind, we resolved everything at the funeral. But it was a funeral, and at least for that day, I was there to comfort her. But that day, we contacted each other, and she, not remembering anything, said sorry. So from her point of view, I see how she might have thought that way. But how can you resolve 11 years of pain in a single day? The day of the funeral, we didn't discuss anything about what I suffered over the years, and how can you talk about those things at a funeral? Of course, on that day I was sincerely there to support her, and after that I was back to myself. When you're broken, you don't return to your whole self overnight. Anyway, I continued to talk to her, and after listening, she said she was sorry. No matter how it turned out, I did receive an apology, and I decided to accept it. She left, and with the remaining members, I promised to pull myself together and stop thinking of taking any extreme measures, and that was it. I believe that our two fathers are watching us from heaven. Since I can't lie, to be honest, at first, when I first saw Jimin, I wondered if she actually felt any sort of guilt. But regardless, she said sorry many times. I heard it, I did. Honestly, I don't really know what to write. I truthfully didn't see any intention from her to sincerely apologize, but this could be because of my own sense of inferiority. Or it could be that I just want to see it that way since I'm so mad at her. To her, it could have been sincere, so it's hard to say for certain what it was. But since I need to wrap up, moving forward, I'm going to regain my composure and work hard and continue to receive treatment. I won't be making any more of a fuss about this. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to get better little by little. There are a lot of people who are affected by me today, and I'm really sorry. Even in this post, I don't think I was able to write anything positive about her. I acknowledge that. Honestly, I haven't even been thinking about her apology at the end. The image of her coming over angry is what's continually playing in my head. I'm as broken as can be, so it's not going to be an immediate recovery. But I'm going to try. It's also what I agreed to do. I'm not going to mention this or post about this again. It's not good writing, so I'm not even sure what it says. But anyway, I'm sorry again. Mina's agency, Uri Actors, has put out a statement after these events, and they have said that while they could not speak on any of the issues that had happened before Mina joining their agency, their priority is the mental health and safety of their actress. They say that she has received a lot of support and affection, and that they will help her receive psychological treatment so that she can return in good health. Now, this is a really difficult topic for me to discuss. I actually cried when I was originally reading these messages. It's no surprise that the entertainment industry is a very difficult place to work and live in. Bullying is unfortunately common everywhere, and it's something that everyone needs to actively fight against, from parents and teachers to managers and bystanders. AOA had regained a little bit of life after Queendom last year, but I think we can safely predict that this is the nail in the coffin for the group. It's even being speculated that this may be one of the reasons that AOA's former main vocalist Choa left the group in 2017. Chanmi is the maknae of the group, which leads me to believe that there isn't really much that she can do on her end. However, the fact that Yoona, Hyejong, and her good friend Seolhyun didn't do anything about it casts a bad light on them as well. I find it hard to believe that they knew absolutely nothing about it over the course of these last 10 years. It's also very concerning to me that instead of arriving fully prepared to apologize to Mina, Jimin actually arrived angry and manipulative, even going as far as to threaten Mina with her own suicide. From my point of view, Jimin's apology didn't even seem sincere, as she did not remember any of the words or abusive acts that she had committed, nor did she seem to attempt to truly seek forgiveness for them. Now, I'm not a psychologist, but it seems that there's some deep-seated issues with Jimin, and that has, in turn, affected those around her in a negative way. It upsets me that Mina feels as if she has to apologize for her actions. I truly hope that she is getting the love, support, and encouragement that she deserves, because she still has an opportunity for a really bright future ahead of her. I know that this was a really heavy story, and I really appreciate it if you made it this far. If you have any thoughts or opinions on the story today, please leave it in the comments down below. I'd really like to know what you all are thinking. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.